Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
Time now to talk more about auteur Mark Pirro. What? You don't know Mark Pirro off the top of your head? The guy who made such classics as Polish Vampire in Burbank, Curse of the Queer Wolf, and 2004's Rectuma? Spoiler alert, it's about an ass that grows a mind of its own. You know, like Mark Pirro. Well, I know there's at least one of his movies you'll remember once I re-burn this image back into your head.
Morning, morning, do the morning, do the morning, morning.
That's right, we're taking a look at another film from the director of Nudist Colony of the Dead. This time, it's probably the most grounded film of his career, Deathrow Gameshow. Not to say that it isn't still fucking retarded. And now you know where bird flu comes from. As we see here, the film is brought to us directly from Paramount. I can only imagine it's called that because in 1987, it wasn't timely enough to call it Piramax. Also, thanks for making the first image of your movie look like that of a sphincter. From the title, it's safe to assume that Deathrow Gameshow is a movie about death row inmates who are given a chance at freedom if they participate in a quirky game show where they could either live or die. And you'd be right. To think that Deathrow Gameshow was only the second Deathrow Gameshow movie to come out in 1987. What was the first? Oh. I said 1987. Statham was 15 years old in 1987. Yes, thank you. The Running Man. Though this movie is so sophomoric that the movies couldn't be any farther apart from each other. It's like comparing 12 Angry Men to Jury Duty. Blech! The show within the movie is called Live or Die. Really original, assholes. Why not just call it Win or Lose, or Questions and Answers? Shit, Chuck Barris could come up with a more original title than this in his sleep, and he's the guy who came up with a show that was simply called The Game Game. Live or Die is hosted by Chuck Todan. I guess Chuck Todan would be Ray Combs to Richard Dawson's Damon Killian, meaning not as good. Also, Chuck Todan seems to come equipped with Saturday Morning Where's Waldo's voice.
We'll be back with more of Live or Die after these messages.
Christ, this guy looks like he's gonna step into the bathroom and get strangled by Patrick Bateman. Deathrow Gameshow has another zany credit sequence, much like Nudist Colony of the Dead's, and once again, it just reminds me of another and better movie.
You need to be the get you jumping like a real live wire. Need to be the sharp treatment.
Also, it's nice of Link's sword to make a fucking cameo appearance. For the most part here, we see various contestants try their luck at Live or Die, like this guy, who has to guess the correct title of a movie. Nice. I'd rather be watching that fucking movie. Weird when the fictitious horror movie within a movie is funnier than your fucking comedy. Deathrow Gameshow is entirely played for laughs, like the convict's family who sits in the audience and are delighted that their father and husband is on TV and has made something of himself.
Our judges say it's face up.
The fuck, they aren't gonna show it? It's great to know that in the future, a show can exist where prisoners are executed on live television, but it still falls victim to censorship. A lot of the humor here is that of spoof humor, like this scene where kids are walking in slow motion down the sidewalk until it pans to a sign that says "Caution, slow children." Slow children. It's a terrible thing to say about the screenwriters. Was that directed at me? We get to see a lot in the life of Chuck Todan, and it isn't nearly as exciting as anything from Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Chuck sleeps with a random woman who is pleading to get a loved one on the show.
He's doing 65 to life for molesting a collie in front of a Catholic school.
Weird. I thought that Mickey Rooney was the only person who molested Lassie. Chuck's office looks not unlike any other television studio office, with the hallways lined with posters of their current TV shows. You know, like the Amityville Horror. Oh good, time for another Live or Die taping.
Dentonvale.
Total value of this deal is worth your life.
Oh come on! How are we supposed to believe that he was really hung behind that curtain? Worst game show ever! After this, Chuck appears on a panel to talk about the controversy of Live or Die. But seriously, why is this show controversial? They don't show anything! That would be like finding out how controversial Sallow is, and then you go to put it in and it's just a black screen. Hey, it may be a black screen, but trust us, there's totally a guy getting his tongue cut out here. Chuck is joined on the panel by anti-death penalty member Gloria Sternvirgin. Classy. Is that her real fucking name, or am I supposed to believe that she has to change it once, you know, she hears the bells? So Chuck and Gloria Sternvirgin... Seriously, really? Anyway, they get shot at by some thugs, and Chuck mentions why he keeps getting so many death threats. We see a flashback where one of the contestants is a former mafioso, and the game is that as long as the man doesn't get it up, he wins. Uh-oh, this is gonna turn out to be Uhura, isn't it? Naturally, something goes wrong and Uncle Junior here dies. Oh, and did I mention the movie has fake commercials? No, that's Wilbur from my last episode on Video Violence 2. The movies really are starting to fucking run together on this show. Not that the commercials here are any better, most of them just look like they're missing a relatively famous line.
I'd buy that for $1.
Back to the Mafia story. Chuck has a nightmare where the mob is trying to kill him. And look, his nightmare even has an opening credit sequence. What? David Blinch? Yeah, this is exactly the kind of movie David Lynch would make. If he shot the die-and-view scene from Soylent Green, maybe. All I can say is I'm sure David Blinch is a hell of a lot better of a director than Jennifer Chambers Blinch. The end? Well, really? Holy shit, Oh, it's just the end of Chuck's nightmare. Yep. Just the end of Chuck Todan's nightmare. Mine still continues. A hitman arrives at the studio to take care of Todan when... Wait, whoa, is that Nudist Colony of the fucking Dead? Believe it or not, this actually isn't the same actor who played Mrs. Drupal in Nudist Colony, but it's nice to know that Piero loved this look so much that he found a doppelganger for it. That's about as important to this world as finding a twin for Tyler Perry. The hitman is Luigi Pappalardo, who lets Todan off the hook and falls for Gloria Sternvirgin. Seriously, these names are so fucking stupid that I want to fucking punch my own tongue. Also, Luigi is about as stereotypical as you can get in this movie. I hear this is exactly what the real Luigi went through when he asked out the princess, which is why she never made him a cake. The two of them go out for dinner, and, oh, of course he dips his pasta in his wine glass. Shit, while I'm at it, why don't I just eat some fucking Lucky Charms out of a bowl of Guinness? Luigi's mom is accidentally put on Live or Die, because as you can see, she's wearing the Advance to the Third Act shirt. Todan makes her run through rings of fire with 2 closed cans of gasoline. Either they're going easy on her, or they don't know how gasoline works. They don't know how gasoline works, unless they dropped a Mentos inside of it. It's hard to tell what the audience thinks because their mouths don't match up with any kind of audio, but I think I know what they're saying. In case you haven't noticed, this movie feels a lot like shock treatment. I swear, if it doesn't end with Dame Edna castrating Cliff DeYoung, I'm gonna be pissed.
Also, remember the movie Stay Tuned? This movie reminds me a lot of that, too. Only if in that movie, they just stayed on one channel, and it was the worst channel.
Back to Luigi and Gloria Sternvirgin. Ugh, nice. Now I know what it looks like when James Gandolfini's heart takes a crap. Sadly, Luigi finds out of his mother's passing when he sees the raw footage. He vows once again to whack Chuck, only this time he tries doing it on Chuck's very own show, complete with Gloria Sternvirgin in tow. Too bad there's nothing the two of them can do about it. Wait a minute, there's 50 guns on the floor! You're a fucking TV show host. Think of something, goddammit! You people should be experts at thinking on your feet. You know, do it live! Thankfully, Luigi is killed by a crazy stalker fan of the show, and Chuck and Gloria Sternvirgin drive off to safety, with Chuck leaving behind his TV career so he and Gloria Sternvirgin can live happily ever after. But I'm going to assume that 5 minutes after this scene, she's shot by Blofeld. As the credits roll, we see Chuck has started a new career using corpses of dead prisoners as guinea pigs for products he's selling. Yeah, like that career choice is so much fucking better. That's like saying, honey, it's okay. I'm not a murderer anymore. I'm a rapist. Yes, the watch he's selling is so strong that it survives in a blender. Yet that's a horrible fucking blender if it won't even cut this guy's hand. The rest of the movie is just leftover commercials, and if you take out the end credits, the movie is about 70 minutes long. That's 5 minutes shorter than Video Violence 2, and that movie didn't even have a fucking plot! That's really embarrassing when the shot on Shitty-O Movie has a bigger dick than your fucking movie.
Listen, you stupid bitch. Can I say stupid?